Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode 30-10, the end of, season 30. We're your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And every week we hang out, we listen to great video game music of all consoles and all generations. We pick a topic for the week. We choose some great music that fits that topic, whether it's the game or whether it's the music, and we listen to it, we discuss it, and we chat about everything else. This week is our special live streamed episode for our Patreon members. Once a month for our Patreon members only, we record an episode just for them. In that episode, we also ask for all of our listeners and our Patreon members, of course, to submit some tracks for the theme and a testimonial if they would like to write one out, just like the old VGM Jukebox podcast.
Now, something worth noting at the beginning of this episode, just to knock that bus out the door, and also as almost like a follow-up to last week's And Remember.
Knock the box.
Which is that...
Knock the box.
Out the box. Not the box. The box! Simpsons reference. A lot of the live stream listeners might be looking at this and being like, wait a minute, Pernell and Rob have been meeting up in person for weeks now, and now for the live stream, they're actually not in the same room. What's going on? Well, follow-up to last week's And Remember, this guy's got COVID over here. And the way that played out was I went to an outing with some friends, like a little small get-together. But unfortunately, one of the people that was at that get-together was with somebody else at a previous get-together, and that person had COVID. And I got the heads up about it, that I might have it from pretty much that the person who hosted the event was like, hey, I just want to give you a heads up. Someone at the event tested positive. They was with another person that had it. Just want you to know. And that night, I was supposed to meet up with Rob. We were going to do, the recent episode that came out. And did I know if I had it or not? No. And honestly, I felt like I've been feeling for the last 2 months, so I had no reason to think otherwise.
It's so hard to know. It's so hard to know based on the symptoms, especially for like us where, it's just this time of the year where it's cold and we get colds anyway. And also it's not cold outside and it should be. And so things are a little strange.
It just goes... Yeah, it's like you can't really tell. But in the end, what ended up happening was erred on the side of caution. I was like, look, I don't want to do it in person because I don't know what's going on with me. And it turns out, according to Day, I tested positive, which means by my friend giving me a heads up and warning me, I was able to prevent giving it to Rob and his wife.
Thank you.
By brazenly being like, hey, I'm cool. I'm feeling great. Let's go hang out, So, and I'm extremely thankful for that. So... That's why when I make comments like, hey, you should take it seriously and just let people know. It's because something like that can occur as a result of taking that action. And I'm thankful for my friend being able to say, here it is, do that. So just throwing that out there. But aside from that, man, video game music, talk the shop. So what were you about to say, Rob? I just jumped on the bus.
I don't remember anymore, but like that's about. I'm glad. I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about that or not, but this is where we are today. Fortunately, we've gotten pretty good at doing this remote. Though I really prefer it when you're just like sitting next to me because it's easier to talk back and forth that way, and we can joke around a lot more easily.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. But that's too bad. So, the other day, I finished Persona 5.
No, don't give him the clap yet. Don't even try.
I beat the last boss of Persona 5.
You haven't seen the credits. That counts.
Credits are on the way. Credits are on the way.
But they ain't here yet. And for the record, I did state, and I stand by this, if by some chance you don't watch the credit sequence before the end of midnight, before midnight tomorrow, you still haven't beaten it, and it's the most hilarious way to have not beaten the game, thereby making it better that way. So you gotta watch the credits.
I'll say this:
before the end of tomorrow.
I'm supposed to work tomorrow. I am not.
Uh-oh.
I'm not. I'm gonna watch the credits. No,
I was going to work,
I'll do it over lunch. I'm sure there's like 30 minutes or so. Like, it can't be. It's just like, I feel like some of the dialogue in that game is like real slow, especially when like they're all congratulating each other or just like,
for real?
They all say that
was my best Ryuji.
That was a good Ryuji. I knew exactly what you were doing. And they all kind of repeat the same thing to each other. And so, but I don't want to fast forward through the end. So I want to take it all in. I want to take it all in because I really enjoyed the final boss. The the final lead up to the last boss. You know what I mean? Like the final
I love that ascent was great.
I dodged maybe more than half of the regular monsters on the ascent. I just dodged
because you didn't need them anymore. You're like, I don't need this junk.
And they were so hard. Like they were so strong. I'm like, I'm gonna run through all of my magic and items, getting to what I'm sure is the final boss. And then I fought the final, I guess, Archangel, and I thought that was the last boss. And so I used a whole bunch of like really heavy, like strong items that I would never find again. And it wasn't. But no, it was really cool. I really liked the whole like cinematic. Like once it was the final boss, I knew it because it was so different.
There was no way you could have mistaken that.
The music was different. It was just so new, and I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that so much.
Now Stephen Miller has me concerned. He said you got literal hours. I'm like, I could have sworn he had a whopping maybe 45 minutes at the most.
I'm telling you, this is what I'm reading on Reddit. People are like, oh, you think it's over, but really there's like, hours of cutscenes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, come on. Give a guy a break.
A lot of cutscenes.
I just want to turn it on for like an hour and enjoy it and then turn it off.
It's like I knew there were cutscenes, yes, but an hour's worth? Like, I don't remember that. Like, I just remember it being like lengthy, but not like you'll be playing an entire dungeon to this cutscene.
You're just feeding my fears, Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is feeding my fears. He's saying you have literal hours. I wish I was joking. The log is super long. Purnell, you have like these rose-colored glasses looking into the past, saying, "I enjoyed that so much." You didn't sleep for like a week playing this game.
That is true. I stand by my statement. I stayed up the entire night. I stayed up all night doing just the second to last dungeon. All night. And I have no shame in that. One run, one go, baby.
Actually, and you didn't know about being able to heal at during the last runs. You didn't know that you could heal in the Velvet Room.
That is correct.
Or just outside the Velvet Room. So I don't know how you survived because I needed that.
Manic. I'm a crazy man.
You used
but I put in that effort.
Oh, okay. One more Persona talk, and then we can just get on. Did you spend time making coffee in the game?
No, because coffee required you to use a day, and a day was time I couldn't spend upping social links.
Wow. Oh yeah, of course, because you wanted to finish all the social links, which I wasn't super concerned with. So yeah, no, the coffee is what saved me because I made so much coffee. I started making Master Coffee, and Master Coffee gives you like it gives you like 50 to 100 SP.
Oh wow!
It's so worth it. I was like,
you know how I told you I upgraded how I kept my SP running, right?
You said bandages.
The 7 SP bandage heals per turn. That was my entire shtick for keeping my magic running. Was 7 HP regained per turn, and I think I may have had one persona that had Spirit Dream, but I don't remember if that was even in that game or not. But I think I did.
Because I kind of stands for Spirit.
I guess so, yeah. Because Spirit points.
I thought it was like special points. Superb.
Maybe it's both.
Superb points. I don't know. That's enough Persona talk. I'm going to play a new game for the new year, and I guarantee I may finish it if it's fun.
Well, I mean, the games we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, they're all short enough that you should. Like, I'm never going to recommend another 100+ hour epic to you. Like, I know your style now. If I recommend a game to you, it's beatable in like 20 hours.
If I can get into it, I know like Christy will get into it too. We'll probably do it together, and it's more likely that we'll finish it together. Rather than on my own. But
on my own.
And if it's easy enough to play and it's turn-based and not super like challenging 3D wise, she might just do it on her own too. But it was like Horizon Zero Dawn we got really into until it got like a little more challenging, which for us is really hard. So just couldn't get that far in that thing. All right, so let's talk about today's topic. Today's topic is all about gift giving. Whatever holiday
gifts.
that you celebrate, a lot of people celebrate holidays this time of year. Even if it's the celebrating the new year, we like to celebrate by giving gifts to those that we love.
Fun gifts, bland gifts,
Yeah.
gifts that'll annoy the parents of the kids that you give them to.
Yeah, now last night we gave gifts to our nephews who moved out here from Seattle. And we gave the middle one like this hand drum thing. It's like a drum that like rings, it resonates. It's almost like a bell / drum. And
Parents are gonna hate you
he
for
was
that.
banging on that drum all night long. I was like, yeah.
That was my whole shtick back in the day when I had young nephews and like younger cousins. All of my gifts generally revolved around making noise.
Gotta make a
and I
lot
knew
of
it.
noise.
You gotta make noise, whether it's from a toy or a video game.
Yeah.
It was meant to be loud and annoying to the parents.
Yeah.
But it was okay because the kids thought I was amazing. And that was the goal. Double fold.
I was glad that the dog didn't get upset. She was just like annoyed and just like left the room. And she jumped on the bed in the other room and was like, I'm not doing this.
Aw. But like, I like the idea of like us doing an episode on giving gifts though, because like you said, like giving gifts is fun. You had a great time giving gifts to your nephews. I like giving gifts to, kids to annoy their parents. And of course, listeners hopefully enjoy giving gifts to their friends or other listeners, or apparently, according to some of these, they gave gifts to us, which I wasn't expecting, but I'll take it.
Yeah,
because I like gifts.
Yeah, so we like when we said give a topic, we kind of translate that topic in different ways, and our listeners are no different. So some of them might say, "Oh, this music is a gift," or maybe this part of the game is about a gift, or maybe there's just a story that goes along with it. So I'm really excited to listen to some tracks and to read some of these testimonials. And since it's an even numbered episode, we are going to start off with me and my friend Electric Boogaloo. EB, aka Santa Claus. No. So Electric Boogaloo sent to us the track After the Game from NBA In the Zone 98 for the Sony PlayStation, composed by Yuichi Asami. That was After the Game from NBA In the Zone 98 for the Sony PlayStation, composed by Yuichi Asami. And yes, this is definitely a Konami song because I know where I've heard this tune before. Oh man, that was amazing. All right, so Electric Boogaloo also wrote to us. He says, I had to think pretty hard on what song I should pick for this month's live stream. What would be a great games song to gift a loved one? It took a while to figure out, but then I realized December is the last month of the year. Many holidays around this time are very festive and celebratory. It clicked. After the Game, the song that plays at the end of regulation in Konami's NBA In the Zone 98. One of the smoothest things you're ever going to hear after playing 4 quarters with chunky low poly basketball players. However, I imagine most of the RMP audience here, and especially Rob, have not first heard this song in NBA In the Zone 98. For many, their introduction to this piece of saxophone heaven was, of course, Dance Dance Revolution, where you can find a shortened vocal remix with lyrics that are a bit risque, titled After the Game of Love, unless you happen to play the Konamics on the PlayStation 1, where those risque vocals were taken out. Oh, that's right, I forgot they were.
I didn't remember that song in the game, but then again, this was probably more one of your genre tracks where you'd be like, it's hip-hop.
Oh yeah, I play the slow jams all the time. I like the hip hop, and now I don't play the hip hop. I play everything that's too fast for me. Yuichi Asami, who had worked on several console DDR games since the original was released on the PlayStation, and has since become sound director of the series as a whole. Oh, that's cool. Was a composer on those In the Zone games, and I can only presume this track was just too good to be stuck in an old basketball simulation game. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy the cool late 90s beats and this fantastic saxophone. Whoever is that special someone, I guarantee they'll leave with a smile on their face. P.S. If y'all are wondering what Asami's NPD3 alias meant on After the Game of Love, it's what In the Zone 98 was called in Japan. NBA Power Dunkers 3. NPD3. Oh! That is so obscure. Like, you think I would have known that, like, because it was so weird.
No, only EB is going to bust out that kind of tidbit. Let's be real here. He's the man of the hour for like obscure details. That's
a gift. This song and that testimonial is a gift. Thank you so much for sending this to me. It answered some questions. I assumed it was like Naoki, Paula Deen 3. I don't know.
Everything about that series was Naoki. Or B for you. Naoki or B for you.
But I assumed the NPD3 was like, it was initials for someone's name, or maybe for 3 different composers. And but now it all makes sense. I don't remember the full lyrics, though. Maybe we should look them up. Should I look them up and start singing?
Not right now. No. Don't do that to us. Don't do that to us. The horror.
Oh, we can at least do the chorus, right? We can do the chorus.
I guess if that's your cup of tea. And while you're looking that up, to answer the question in the chat, Dustin, I was talking to Chris about chocolate Dr. Pepper. Apparently that exists, and friend and co-host of SML, Joe Cam, actually did get some. You had to like acquire a bunch of Dr. Pepper redemption points, because apparently Dr. Pepper does that now. And if you get enough, you can send in, or just message in, and they'll mail you chocolate Dr. Pepper. And apparently he likes it. I want some, but I don't drink enough Dr. Pepper to get enough points to be getting any canned sodas, that's for sure. But I really want to try it now, and I like the idea of there being a chocolate flavor, because at the end of the day, if you're going to produce it, I'm willing to try it. If you're willing to actually market it in a way that you believe is profitable, and it includes things I already like separately, I'll give it a try. Which is why I also want Peeps Pepsi, which I'll never get my hands on, which makes me sad.
They did make a Peeps Pepsi, right?
Marshmallow Peeps Pepsi. Yep.
I doubt it tastes like marshmallow.
Only get it but I bet it tasted like gold, like liquid gold.
It's like let's make Pepsi extra sweet,
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. I can sing some risque lyrics here. Here we go.
I'll be honest with you, Chris. Well, I'll tell you in a second, because Rob's going to get risky.
While we here like this, I don't know. Too many drinks and a kiss. Male and female, what is there to do? That's right, the beastly rendezvous. You want to go Greco-Roman style? To meet your needs, I'll even run a mile. Be prepared. We're going to have some fun, and the time has come. Round 1.
I like round 1. They have a lot of great video games like this one. The potato chip Reese's, believe it or not, just put a little bit of salt on your on your Reese cup and you get the same taste. They just add some saltiness. But the peanut butter ones, yes, they are. Every time I go to Wawa, I buy 1 2-packs. You know they're only seasonal, so they're going to eventually stop selling them. I would go out, I would buy them, get them, put them in the freezer, and I just have a stack of peanut butter Reese cups right now that are going to just last me for a good year. Oh, shucks. Thank you. It's a good beard. It's a good beard. I like the beard. It makes me feel good. Though one day I'm going to have to clip it, at least trim it or something. But I just got lazy with it.
I think it's trimmed. Like, you can keep it long, but just like shaped.
I just let this bad boy flow out. It was like,
I use like
talk about my beard, basically. Dustin says, "You're now favorite black man wizard beard." And I can cast a mean spell or two.
I'm saying if you either trim the beard or you get like a really big cloak and a staff.
I could do both.
Yeah.
I could do both. I have a cloak. Just gotta get a staff.
All right, we are on to your first track of the night.
I have to pick this track as the first track because not only was I just talking about this game the other day, but this track is one of probably my all-time favorite game tracks that I can recall. And the fact that someone gifted it to me on the gifting episode without having any prior knowledge of me liking this track is just fantastic. So this track comes from the game Bust a Groove 2 from the Sony PlayStation.
Yes. This
was submitted by Martirus. And the track is titled Got to Be Happy. It's Tsutomo's theme, little choo-choo train kid. And it's composed by Yukihiro Fukutomi. Welcome back. You're listening to Got to Be Happy, Tsutomo's theme from the game Buster Groove 2 from the Sony PlayStation, composed by Yukihiro Fukutomi and submitted by listener Martyrus. So, couple fun facts about this game before I even get to the extensive testimonial, which is legit. This is the first import game I ever purchased.
Ooh,
this is the first.
This might be one of the first import games that I copied off of Purnell.
I bought it at NecoCon. Oh, I played it at NecoCon 99. It was also my first anime convention. And that was also where a running gag of like the 10 Points crew came from, because I entered a tournament for a game I'd never played before, being Bust a Move 2, and lost to a McLoad character who's like a really cheap jerk. I lost to him by 10 points after being down by a good 6,000 points. Like, I made up the entire difference, and if I had one more measure to the song, I would have beat him, but the song was over. But of all the tracks in this game, this is by far the best one to me. And it is really good to listen to when your spirits are down, because it just has this energy to it that just makes you feel better. And heck, I mean, it's right in the title in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I'll stop rambling about the Purnellisms, because I didn't submit the track, Martyrus did. So what did he have to say? He says, to begin, this track is a gift to Purnell, but before I explain, how about some info? This track is from the PS1 game Buster Groove 2, aka Buster Move 2 in Japan, where you battle other dancers to face the final boss whose moves are out of this world, which is funny because Pandar is a weird character. While it's not DDR, you're basically trying to complete button combos by the fourth beat of each measure without getting distracted or missing a beat. One of the dancers is named Tsutomo, an 11-year-old boy who wears a randoseru, or Japanese backpack, and holds two maracas shaped with frogs' heads. His dance stage is on a platform that revolves around a Japanese-style house, and this is the stage upon which this track plays. This game series is one of my favorites, and perhaps a starter to other rhythm-based games. Same here, man. That and Parappa the Rapper were like the humble beginnings of rhythm games for a lot of us. It also created a deeper appreciation for video game music as I started adding such music to my playlist. So why did I pick this track as my gift to Purnell? Mostly because of in Remember segments, Purnell speaks about being positive and uplifting yourself despite the odds not being in his favor. His segments, in addition to being humorous, can get to listeners on a personal level. It lets them know that yes, he's going through it and he's sharing what he's learned so you don't have to go through, or that you learn from it and adapt it to your way of coping. I find his general messages to be happy no matter what's going on in your life. Merry Christmas, Purnell. Enjoy this song and keep it close to your happy heart. And given the nature of today, what I mentioned earlier in the episode, God, that resonates deep. Because, oh my God, yeah, it's been rough. It's definitely been rough. But as it always stands, like I'll tell everybody that wants to hear, like, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm going through, and I don't sugarcoat it. My life is my life, but at the end of the day, it's about kicking through it, dealing with it, coping with it, taking whatever resources are at your disposal to allow you to get through these problems, and making it through, because there's always something better waiting for you on the other side. It's just a matter of getting through the hurdles that are trying to prevent you from seeing what's on the other side. So finding
your way to the other side. Yeah.
That's legit.
We were reminded by Electric Boogaloo that the lyrics are sung by the vocalist Momoko Suzuki.
Oh, from this track?
Yeah, so I added it to my notes.
Oh, good hit.
But man, this whole soundtrack. So before DDR was released in North America on the PlayStation as a home version, we still had this game. So this was the only rhythm. This and Parappa were the only rhythm games. Well, I guess in Buster Groove 1 were the only rhythm games available in North America.
Well, think about it, remember, with maybe you're right, because this Buster Groove 2's US release did come out before Canonics, right? Which was
because Canonics
the first home version.
So slow to come out. Yeah, it was the home version based off of like third mix or fourth mix, when like in the arcades they were up to like 6 already.
And they cut out a lot of good tracks even from that.
They cut out so much good stuff. And even then, and once they went to fifth mix in the arcades, the game started running at 60 frames a second, which was, it's kind of helpful playing rhythm game having like a better frame rate. But the original mixes and then the Canonics was still running at like 30 frames per second. So it was rough. Like here in North America, here's the ugliest version of the game possible. But before that came out, I had a dance pad that I bought from Katsucon. And
was it a Red Octane or one of those crappy floor
ones.
sliders?
Yeah, floor sliders. It was like in 2000. I bought that, but I didn't have the game because I kept thinking I'd find it at the con.
Oh wait, I just remember something. We used to play DDR at your old house, and the pad and it was the crappy floor slide pad. We would play a song, start on one side of the room, and end up on the opposite one because the pad kept sliding across the room.
Yeah. I think everyone did that. People still do that. Like even like on the modern like Discord servers of people talking about DDR. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I found my soft pad. What can I do with it?" And people are like, "Just get some duct tape it to some plywood, and there you go." And that'll last you for a little while. But yeah, so I used to play the soft pad to Bust a Groove, which was like really hard to do.
Yes, it was.
That's all I had.
If you're trying to do combos,
I was like, "This is all I've got. And I played this game, Bust a Groove 2, over and over and over again, trying to get the perfect run. And I've never. I got really close, like once or twice, to a perfect run, but like.
And when you say perfect run, are you saying beat every boss without ever missing a rhythm?
Yeah, because you can do it where like not just every like. Because you have to do a directional or button combination and then press the button to the beat. But if you press every button leading up to the beat, plus that one to the beat, you get extra points.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Or was it just a harder like judgment? It was something like that. I know that there's a way to get like more points per turn, and then you can get more points per song. And then if you can unlock the hidden boss, which was Pander.
Maybe what you're thinking, because I've unlocked Pandar, and I didn't do what you're saying. So what I'm thinking what it might have been was just not messing up the actual, like, rhythm beats, because you would always unlock Fever Time if you got over a certain score. And Fever Time was an extra dance string that the character that won would do. That was just like it's almost like a fatality in dance games.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was freaking great.
It was a fatality.
But like you'd pretty much get Fever Time, you'd bust that out, and of course on the stages, if you did well enough, you'd also unlock the weird like extra animations for the stages too. So getting the Pandar and the bosses in between before Pandar was mainly just doing really well, which basically meant not screwing up any fourth beats and not getting attacked by the opponent. Because for those who don't know about this game, also, it wasn't just about hit the notes. Hit the buttons, and then on the fourth measure, hit the concluding button that just says, "Hey, you did the entire string of notes for the song or the step." But every once in a while, let's say for example you were screwing up your measure, you screwed up the button input, and it was time to submit the final hit, or you just wanted to screw up the opponent. You can press a different button and send an attack to that side. So you say, "Hey, I'm attacking you," and on the next measure, they're going to take a damage,
that's right. Yeah,
and it makes them lose steps. But you can counter that and pass it back and forth. And that's when it got real brutal, because if you played another good player, you're just passing attacks back the entire song.
And you have to do
it was hard
on the rhythm, because even if you did everything just right but weren't on the rhythm, you take the damage, and you'd lose like a whole measure of the music, and you're basically done at that point.
Pretty much. That's how I was down on that one guy. Like, he hit me with both of his attacks, and he was using a really cheap character whose entire string was just one button. No combos. And I was like, that's not very fair. I was like, you know what, fine, I'll come back. And I was using Kelly, who was the police officer in the game. And I came back. I was tearing it up.
That's right. So you were right. It was just a harder timing window to get like the extra point. And so that's what I used to do. I used to try to get the highest score for each stage through the entire run of the game. And it was just very, very challenging. And there's a bunch of hidden characters too. I remember it just being Pandar was a hidden character, but there were a bunch of other ones. There was,
the guy that he was using was McLeod. McLeod was the dinosaur that the other guy was using against me, and he was the cheap character because all of his inputs were one button. Like circle, 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 circle. And I was like, that's not very fair. But yeah. And Jessica was like, I've never heard of that game before, but yes, get on it. It's still fun. Just play it on a CRT because the rhythm is on point.
Okay, so in Japan, there's an epilogue during the CG sequences with a voiceover hosted by a minor character named James Sunioka, which was taken out obviously in the North American version. And then also Hiro-kun's symbol was a cigarette. It used to be a cigarette in Japan. And they changed it to his head. Yeah, or I love me.
Well, we could always see that because the one I have is the Japanese one. I imported this.
I never knew that. That's so
This was literally my first import game ever.
This is a gift for both of us, I think.
Oh yeah, because honestly, I'm still dancing to the darn song. It's just so good.
We gotta get a move on though. Our next track is coming from our listener Jess, and we're gonna listen to track 5 from Silpheed for the Sega CD. I know the tracks are named on the official soundtrack. I didn't get a chance to figure out which name was to which track, so I'll figure it out. But it's the soundtrack is recorded by Mariko, Sato, Mamoru, Ishimoda, Yoko, Sonoda, Hiroshi, Kawai, KASS, KSS, Masakuni, Mitsuhashi, who are the MECANO Associates Incorporated. This is a track from Silpheed for the Sega CD. And we're back. You're listening to a track from Silpheed for the Sega CD, composed by Mariko Sato, Mamoru Ishimoda, Yoko Sonoda, Hiroshi Kawai, KASS, Masakuni Mitsuhashi, the MECANO Associates Incorporated. This was sent to us by our listener and Patreon member, Jess. And yes, I'm into this track because at the very end of the track before it loops, there's these insane orchestra hits, and they're awesome. And I'm a sucker for an orchestra hitting it. Excuse me. I thought I was going to sneeze. All right, so Jess writes to us, the number one lose your stuffing Christmas gift we ever received as kids was a Sega CD to add to our Genesis. It's still hooked up to my biggest old CRT in the basement. Okay, I love that. It was a used one from Funkoland, and because our parents saved money on the hardware, we got a handful of games instead of just one or two. The system blew our minds and influenced our taste in games for years to come. For better or for worse, I'm still a sucker for FMV or full motion video games. One of the games we got was Silpheed or Silpheed. I always said it was Silpheed. Do you think it was Silpheed or Silpheed?
I always pronounced it Silpheed.
Yeah, Silpheed. And I still consider this game to be an absolute marvel. The there's the orchestra hits. Love the orchestra hits. The developers were able to use the CD format to simulate early polygonal graphics way beyond anything the Genesis could actually process. The game sprites run on top of pre-rendered video of the polygonal backgrounds, with polygons assigned color values directly from the color palette of the Genesis hardware. So instead of grainy video actors, like most Sega CD games you got perfectly crisp, blocky polygons that made it look like your souped-up Genesis was a supercomputer. I hope everyone, hosts and listeners included, had a nice holiday season, and I look forward to what the new year of Rhythm and Pixels brings. Me too.
You and me both.
When I hear about this add-on technology to the Genesis, like the Sega CD and the 32X, and how they made it work, and the additional, it wasn't just additional power with the 32X in this. It was they kind of MacGyvered all these additional ways to make games and to make graphics and stuff them into the system. And it's just amazing to me that they were so creative, and that it was really cool. The Sega of America and Sega of Japan, one of the most creative of the console wars, which is why they won the console war.
No.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Of course, the victors will write the history.
Honestly, I wish Sam TurboGrafx wrote the darn history, because they were the unsung champion, the third member of the battle royale of the '80s block.
Right.
So
and then Neo Geo.
Stand behind them. No, well, actually, Neo Geo is still somehow, like, fandom-wise, going very strong. That system is a forever concept.
It is. I kept thinking Silpheed was a top-down shooter. I think I'm getting it confused with something else entirely. But maybe I just never played this game before, and the cover always made me think of a top-down shooter.
Yeah, I'd never played Silpheed. I just remember seeing the box at the store.
It looks cool. I mean, it's got like a cool, like, kind of 80s future aesthetic to it, which I really like.
Of course, now he makes me want to go try to fucking find this. It's probably emulatable somewhere because it's
no,
like a CD game.
It is a shooter. Okay, I was right. Yeah, it's kind of a top-down shooter, but using the polygons. But yeah, you're right. It's really clean polygons.
If someone wants to look it up in the chat, I can't remember. I want to say that Working Designs actually did a Silpheed release too. Whether it was for Working Designs. My memory's a little hazy there, but I feel like they might have done a Silpheed game. Maybe even on, like, that Stephen Miller band, or maybe that is it, Project Silpheed. Well, I have to look it up. It was on early Xbox 360.
Okay, that's where I saw it then. This game is gorgeous. Like, this is the game that if I saw, I would be like, oh my god, I needed the Sega CD. But instead, I saw games like Sewer Shark. And I was like,
God, don't even remind me of that abomination.
Like, maybe I'll bypass the Sega CD. You know, maybe I'm not going to be
Sega CD had the audacity to have people believing that game was the future of video gaming. It was that, Prize Fighter, and Night Trap for my house.
Night Trap.
None of those games were worth their lick of salt. But with the exception of, I guess, Night Trap, because it was Dana Plato's final product or project. So I'll give it that. The EB looks like he came through, but I can't bring it up just yet. But it's like he sent the link. I think he found it. The game I was talking about. So I gotta get down to that. But like,
yeah, let's keep on rolling then. What's your next track?
We're gonna have to do an additional track for this episode because I want to play that track, but at the end of the day, I can't deny the beauty that is this track, which happened to also come from Jess. So it's like this is the Jess block here.
I'm cool with that.
This comes from. So we're gonna have one additional track later in the episode, but for now, this track is from the game Ion Fury, and the track title is called Broken System, and is composed by Jarkko Rosten.
You're good.
Welcome back. You're listening to Broken System from the game Ion Fury, composed by Jarkko Rosten. This game was pretty much like this. Well, I'll let Jess's testimonial speak for it, and then I'll fill in some blanks because she provided some good details, juicy details. So it says, I don't think Ion Fury came out this year, but I played it this year, so I'll consider it the video game industry's gift to me for 2021. I've played and enjoyed several retro-styled modern games in recent years, such as Shovel Knight, Blazing Chrome, etc., but never a 90s-style FPS, and certainly none actually running on the authentic, outdated game engine. Being a fan of the old Duke Nukem games, I knew I would enjoy this one, but I had no idea how much fun I would have with it. I had some difficulty adapting to the 90s mechanics and playstyle at first, here to that. But once I found my groove, I was off to the races. A tough-as-nails female protagonist who's as vulgar as Duke Nukem, and I will not say this on the podcast, but she did say, probably not for the podcast, dance, ripper, dance. There you go. It's something she says when you kill a guy in the game. Check. Frantic, if it moves, kill it. FPS action, check. A rockin' soundtrack that fits the game perfectly, check. I'd encourage anyone who likes early FPS games to give this game a go. I hope everyone, host listeners included, had a nice holiday season. I look forward to what the new year Rhythm and Pixels brings. So, able to repeat from the back end of the last one, but hey, it's worth repeating twice because it's a fantastic sentiment. And yeah, I love that she says in the chat that she spams save just like old times, because I was wondering as I read her testimony, I was like, how in the heck was Jess good at this game? Because I did a review of it, and my takeaway was like, look, they did a fantastic pixel-perfect job of making a recreation of like a classic FPS game.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate side effect was it's a picture-perfect recreation, which means enemies are sniping you from across the room, and you're trying to nail a pixel dot across the screen. It ain't happening, and I died like crazy. But when I got my flow, I loved it.
One of the things I didn't know about this was that it is like super legit. It's built on an engine called eDuke 32, which is a fork of the engine called Build, which was running Duke Nukem 3D. Mm-hmm. So it's a fork that's used of that build that's built to run on modded operating systems. So it is legit old school.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting.
That's what she was saying. She didn't have the name, but she definitely mentioned that it was built on like the original system, like software or original engine. So it wasn't like them trying to recreate it from a new engine. This is like authentic.
And then I guess the first controversy that it encountered was the original title of the game was called Ion Maiden, like Iron Maiden, Ion Maiden. And apparently the logo looked a little too close to the actual logo for the band Iron Maiden, and they said no, so they had to change it.
But I do love the cover art for the game too. She's like, no, not today, baby.
Yeah, it looks cool. Like, I mean, I was never good at these games when they were out, but I did play them a whole lot. So maybe I'll try this one.
You might. I think you'd like it. Like, it's like I said. Don't expect. I'm gonna be blunt. Don't go in there expecting to just tear up. No. Definitely don't go in there expecting to tear it up. But do go in there expecting an authentic, retro experience that was made with love. Yeah. That much I'm sure of. And maybe a little aggression too. But it's a great game.
Yeah, it's something like maybe I'm not gonna like. I would just like to try it. So I know that I won't be able to do very well with it, but I would love to try it sometime. So it looks really, really cool. Maybe I'll just watch a long play. Or when I'm recovered, bring your butt over here. We can just boot it up. We'll boot it up on the couch. Put your booty on the couch. Boot it up.
Boot it up. Oh, geez. Boot it. That's where we're at now. I missed that movie.
What was that from?
It was The Critic.
Oh, it was The Critic. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I thought it was from a movie, but no, it was.
Well, it was close because it was referencing a movie, but it was on The Critic.
Yes. Here's a clip from the Fox version. Okay, our next.
That's what it was. Yep, boot it.
Our next track comes from Stephen Miller. The track he picked for us was the Wall Market theme from Final Fantasy VII for the Sony PlayStation, composed by the one and only Nobuo Uematsu. That is a nice loop. I really like that loop. You're listening to the Wall Market theme from Final Fantasy VII for the Sony PlayStation, composed by Nobuo Uematsu. Ooh, that's good. Pernell is rocking out. You can't see him. I mean, unless you're part of our Patreon membership. He's doing his bass face.
And making mouse squeak-like sounds.
Ooh. Stephen Miller writes to us. He says, "Hey, my dudes. Given the theme of holiday gifts, there's only one possible choice of song for me. I was always into playing games since I got my NES at age 4, but it was always a casual affair. A fun diversion with friends and not a solo affair. Christmas age 11 changed that. I got a Sony PlayStation along with Final Fantasy VII, but no memory card."
God!
That's rough.
That just sounds like hell.
I distinctly making it all the way to Wall Market before bed, only to realize I could not save my progress and having to let the game linger on just a few minutes longer, absorbing the rich background of the Wall Market and listening to this song before begrudgingly turning off the PlayStation and resigning myself to starting again when I could. This game kick-started my full-blown gaming hobby, so the gift meant more than my parents could have realized. As always, I hope you enjoy. Cheers. Yes, that is an amazing story. Like, imagine like, oh, I'm going to spend all night playing this game, and you spend like maybe 3-4 hours, and then you finally go to bed and wake up and you're back at the beginning.
The weird thing is, like, I've over the years, I've come across multiple people who have had, unfortunately, similar situations of their parents not realizing their games needed memory cards. And it's always interesting because no matter who it is, it always has this, like, very authentically unique feel to how each individual handled it. Like, some kids just replayed the game over and over again. Some kids left the game running, just wouldn't turn it off. Just turned the TV off and went to bed.
Yeah, I was always found that different with the disc systems, like the early disc systems, because you know that engine, the engine's going to be spinning that disc over and over and over again. And
I think as adults, we know that. As kids, we didn't care. All we knew was game system go brr, and it worked. And you just assumed it wouldn't break. You turned it off, went to bed, came up, like, oh, it's still running. It hasn't blown up yet. I'm good.
I don't know, man. When I was a kid, I was always worried about that stuff. Like, I remember hearing kids on the playground saying, oh, I beat Mario 3 by leaving it on overnight so I could pick it up the next day. And I thought, isn't your Nintendo going to get super hot and start a fire?
See, I didn't think about it back then. There was a period when I started to think about that stuff, probably around like late N64. But for the most part, in my mind, they were just like indestructible game playing machines. Like just worked.
You know, it was
so leaving it on wasn't going to break it.
It was probably my parents probably trying to convince me not to play like too many video games, to tell me like, if you can't play too long, because if you play too long, it gets too hot and it might start a fire and you'll never play.
You'll never play again. Jeez, Mom, that's rather morbid. Well, it kept you from turning the game on, didn't it?
Now, I did play, I think I played Tiny Toon Adventures on the NES. Probably like, I would play it like start to finish. Like I would just finish the game and I would just start it again. I would just play it back to back.
It was really good.
It wasn't a hard game, but it was fun. This is a good song.
The only thing about that game that bugged me, Tiny Toons, as much as I loved it, was that, you know, you could choose your Tiny Toons friend to accompany you on each level. But even though you could choose a friend, each level was purely designed to have a specific friend on it. So you're not going to really get what's so diverse. Like the forest level, you always use Dizzy Devil because he could burn through the trees. Yeah, Furball could climb them, but he couldn't get some of the cool stuff that was behind two trees. Furball was good for Boomtown. Plucky was good for the water caves. And then Wacky Land, you just, I guess, used Plucky because there was nothing special there. And then Montana Max's level, Buster was the best character for that. So there you go.
Yeah, 100%.
God, Rygar was so
Buster
hard.
Only. Yeah, Rygar was really hard. This this like island beat is reminding me of when I last visited my family in Seattle before they moved out here. My brother-in-law likes to sail, and he would rent a sailboat, and we all got on there with my other brother-in-law from lives out in PA town, and we were just out sitting on the water, and he wanted music. He said, "Yeah, I wanted some cool reggae. I want to listen to reggae." And so I'm on my phone searching up like, I'm gonna play some cool like dub reggae and some like modern reggae. And he was like, what is this? This is cool, but it's not cool. And so I immediately put on oh my gosh, we're jamming.
Jamming!
And he was like, yeah. He was dancing all over the boat. It was so funny. I just was like, you know what? That's a happy guy. As soon as he gets Bob Marley. I almost said Marlon Wayans.
Well, that would be a whole nother song there if it was Marlon Wayans that sung it.
Yeah, or it could have been SW1. Shawn Wayans.
Shawn Wayans, which for the longest time I had no idea he was a Wayans, it was just SW1. Like, also think about that. That was his DJ name, which was actually a legitimately good DJ name, but all it was like, it's my first name and my last name and the number one because I'm the first or the only one. Like, what?
He was the only one.
What you dissect?
He was the only one that wasn't in the sketches until he wasn't.
There it is. Like, you dissect this name. It's like, it's not so cool anymore. Initially, SW1 was awesome. Now it's your name, though. It's just not whatever. Well, I do have my next pick, but I also need to hit the restroom something fierce.
All right, so why don't we announce the next pick then?
Okay, and while it's playing, I'll hit the water closet. So this is from The Last Rican. This is a jamming track that I genuinely did not realize was in the game, but as enough people suggested this game to me, I'm probably going to go out and buy it tomorrow, or I don't know, I'll figure out something. This comes from the game Guardians of the Galaxy, and the track title is called Space Riders with No Names, and it is composed by a band that goes by the name of Star-Lord, and you guys are going to love it, because I know I friggin' did. Be right back.
Through the
I mean, yes. I mean, yeah! Welcome back. You're listening to Space Riders with No Names from the game Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, submitted by The Last Weekend and composed by Star-Lord, the band composed of members Steve Sczepkowski.
Yeah.
Sczepkowski. I'm sticking with that. Leave it. And Yohann Boudreault. Oh, frankly, Zappa's gotta go. Well, it was a pleasure having you here, friend. And until next time, Happy New Year's to you, and get your game on sweet and well. Play some great jams. Actually, also hit us in the podcast group, in the Discord group. Let us know what you got for Christmas, if anything, or what games you plan to play over the new year. Let's see. So The Last Weekend had this to say in regards to this ridiculously good track, actually. He says, my gift to my VGM podcast fam is the track Space Riders with No Names from the Guardians of the Galaxy video game that came out in October. My reason for choosing this track, besides the fact that it's awesome, is because I like to imagine the title of the song speaks to no-name heroes, those who don't really get the spotlight or recognition they deserve despite going above and beyond. A title that I feel fits the VGM podcast community. Year after year, content is pumped out to the listeners' ears, helping people through their work days, holidays, or just daily life in general. VGM podcasting has definitely made a huge impact on my life these past 3 years, and I'm so glad to have discovered and started my own podcast as well. Without it, I would have never gotten to know the likes of Ed Wilson of the VG Embassy, Bedroth and Shoot Kapala of Very Good Music, the patron saint of VGM podcasting, Alex Messenger-san, the crew of Game That Tune, Kung Fu Carlito of The Heroes 3, and many more. You have all helped me through some tough times these past couple of years. And how could I forget the Baker of Beats, the arpeggio aristocrat Rob Nichols, and his co-host, the metallic masochistic madman Purnell. That's gotta be my new Pokemon gym trainer name too.
That's your new Guitar Hero band.
If not for Purnell, I would have never found out about the East Coast Pokemon League. And to all of you, you are the Space Riders with no names. The heroes no one talks about. So if no one else says it, I will. Thank you for being you and doing what you do. To the year 2022. And by God, I hope it doesn't suck. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, I think that's the best we can hope for, is that it doesn't suck. Just a little bit less.
Right? I can tell you right now, 2020 sucked. 2021 actually sucked a bit more. I don't know what I'm expecting from 2022, but I'm still going to try. That's the goal. Still going to try.
It was not easy for me either. I know it wasn't easy for you. But we're coming into 2022 hot. We're gonna do it.
It was not easy being cheesy, but actually, there's something to be thankful for this year. Those flaming hot Cheetos popcorn balls. Oh my God, those things are delicious.
I gotta try those.
Yes, you do. Like if you're trying to watch your weight and you still want a snack, that does everything you need it to do. It's like, I want flaming hot chips, but I don't want the chips. I just want the flaming hot dust. So get it on popcorn. Bam! It's less calories, it's less fat.
What I might do is I might take the flaming hot Cheetos, run them into a food processor, and make my own dust out of it. And then
do it.
And then you take that, and then you get some like chicken breasts, and you crush the chicken breasts, and you fry the chicken breasts with flaming hot Cheetos. I'm telling you, I've got ideas up in here for now.
I mean, what was it? The thing that blew my mind, honestly, was Frito-Lay. I want to say it was Frito-Lay. There was a food truck, a pop-up food truck business that was going on mostly in Chicago that I came across, but there's other states too, where they did like a pop-up Frito-Lay flaming hot food truck. And that food truck was literally just various dishes with flaming hot Cheetos. Not even crumbled, just whole Cheetos just slapped on top. So flaming hot, like mac and cheese with flaming hot Cheetos on it, or a pizza with flaming hot Cheetos on it. And I was there thinking, first of all, you're not doing anything that I should be giving you money for. Like I know how to do this. I've already done it. And two, you can at least crush it up first. What good is it to have a whole Cheeto on mac and cheese?
So you know about Milk Bar, right? Milk Bar was like they're a food truck, and I think they do restaurants and do catering now. But the idea was of this woman. Oh my gosh, I knew her name. I just looked up Christina Tassis. What she did was she would take cereal, put milk in it, and then like she would use like the cereal flavored milk in her desserts, and like that was like the thing, and like that's a great idea, right? Like cereal flavored milk. So the idea of like, oh, we'll do something with the hot Cheetos. No, they just put the Cheetos on top of stuff. Like, you gotta do something else. They gotta transform that ingredient like they would on Chopped. You gotta transform that ingredient.
Yeah, you gotta make it into something that I'm going to actually give you money for, because if you're literally just taking a bag of Cheetos off the shelf and dumping it onto a Pizza Hut pizza, what the heck am I giving you money for? I'll just buy the stuff myself and do it. But people were losing their crap over it. They were like giving these guys hard cash to see someone dump Cheetos on the mac and cheese. I got nothing. But, I'd make it. So, that's me rambling about Fritos.
Yeah, well, I'm going to transform this ingredient, the main ingredient, the show, into the bonus round.
Freedom bonus round.
Oh my God, Axl Rose? No, it's just Purnell.
Purnell Rose.
The bonus round is where we play covers and remixes and arrangements on our theme. It is an opportunity to indulge in some remixes. And for this bonus round, I'm picking from our listener and friend, Chris Weisner, Musashi219, the Wise Guy. And he picked for us the Aria of the Soul Coffee Date remix, which is a track from Persona 5 remixed by the artist Coffee Date and then distributed on the label Game Chops. That was Aria of the Soul remix, a song from Persona 5 composed by Shoji Meguro, remixed by Coffee Date for the label Game Chops. And I really dig that. That was actually one of my least favorite songs in the game, only because the singing was a little high pitched, and so as the amount of time I spent in this part of the game, fusing personas, organizing them, making sure I got them all in a row and leveling them up. The whole time there's this like singer going and going and going and going and going. So this one, it makes it a little more chill. It's way more mellow, and I'm really into this version of the song. Shall I read the testimonial, Purnell?
Not yet, because the second track for the bonus round is also from Chris Weisner, the wise guy. And since the testimonial kind of links to both of them, it only makes sense to just read it afterwards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, my bonus round pick for this episode is Aria of the Soul 8-bit remix, also from Persona 5. And this one was covered by Musikage. Or Musikage. That's probably what it actually is.
I think so, yeah.
Welcome back. You are listening to, from the Musikage, which I love that name, by the way. I just want to point that out. The Aria of the Soul remix from the game Persona 5, titled Aria of the Soul 8-bit remix. This was also suggested by listener and friend, the wise guy, Chris Weisner. And suffice to say, this was a bop. Usually, we try to avoid doing like the double dip when we can.
Yeah.
But this is one of those cases where it was like, it was a good combination, and I liked what the testimonial is going to ultimately say as well. So I was like, no, we got to do this. We got to go with both of them. So I guess since Rob started it off, you should probably read the testimonial for it, though.
Yeah, okay. I totally have that open right in front of me. Here we go. All right, so Chris Weisner says, there are many wonderful gifts out there, but video game music is one of the greatest of all. Given Purnell's love of the series and the hope that Rob has either finally finished Persona 5 or that this will motivate him to wrap it up before the end of the year, I'm giving both of you a remix of Aria of the Soul. Since I can't have you fighting over the same present, though, you each get one that I think matches your sensibilities. For Purnell is a blip-laden chiptune bopper courtesy of Musikage, and for Rob is a lo-fi hip-hop dream from Coffee Date. Hope you are well, and cheers to the recent 300 episode milestone. You know, I didn't read this testimonial, and we just picked the ones that that we wanted.
No, I definitely read the testimonial from
Okay.
that. Like, that's why I was like, oh no, we got to go with this. We got to do this.
I saw this now. I was like, ooh, Coffee Date. Ooh, Game Chops. I'll pick that one first.
And it's sad because the stream did end up unfortunately cutting at this very moment. So we lost the live stream focus itself, but we can still conclude the episode and go through the usual rigmarole because they can listen to it too, hopefully, later on. And because honestly, it was a good chat and live stream too. But thankfully, not all, but we still have one more nice piece to go through here.
Oh yeah,
the episode is truly over.
We still have one more excellent piece of music. Is there anything more you want to say about this last track? Because this last track was it was a banger. Like I just liked it. It was funky. It was way funkier than that song has ever been. Maybe ever.
It was funky Cold Medina in some cases.
It was had all of these little asides, and it gave us some Castlevania vibes, especially in the beginning. But I think it was just probably just the sound of it, and the drums were straight out of a Konami game too. So, a lot of Konami vibes in this episode.
The spirit of Konami lives on, even if the company itself is long dead.
Yeah, and the spirit of Konami will live on in you. I pointed at the camera. Anyway, for more information on the bonus round, you can go to rhythmandpixels.com, where we have links to SoundClouds and Bandcamps and everywhere where you can go and download and buy the music and support these amazing artists. Thanks for joining us on episode 30-10 of Rhythm and Pixels. This is our gift-giving episode. Episode where we give the gift of video game music and you give the gift of
video game music.
Money. No, video game music.
Everyone's giving video game music.
We're ending on this track. It's a Dominic Ninmark track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I want to took up this game too, because I've never heard of this game, but it was submitted by Boudreault.
I think this might be one of my favorite game composers.
Dominic? 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see this exists, because I'm hoping when I go to look this game up that this is a newish game, which means that he's still in the game making new tracks. Because I've been worried that he was going to check out, because I don't hear too much about his name anymore since he stopped working with DYA Games.
Oh wow. I'm not saying in my mind, I've got Minami Mitsume, I've got Nobuo Uematsu, I've got Yuzo Koshiro, and Tim Fallon, and now I've got Dominic Ninmark. They're all up there.
All up in the listers.
Yeah.
My problem is I have a tough time with nailing specific favorites. I got my Falcom sound team, but let's be honest, there's a ton of different people in there. Yeah. I don't know who's doing what. There's Tenpei Sato and Motoi Sakuraba. And then beyond that, and I guess also Hitoshi Sakamoto. But beyond that,
you go back to Tenpei Sato quite often, though. I think.
Yeah, it's just, and then it just feels like I just like game music. I have trouble 100% saying this guy is my favorite, but I will say that there are definitely composers like Dominic Ninmark where if I hear his name is on a game, I'll probably just buy it. I don't even know if the game is good. I just want to hear more of his stuff.
It's about a rocket-powered goose that's flying around blowing up spaceships. It's Dominic Ninmark. I'm buying it.
I'm buying it.
Perfect.
But let's read what Boudreault had to say about this track, which we need to name. It was from the game Gravity Circuit. Is the theme of Blade, Cooler Circuit, it says. Theme of Blade, Cooler Circuit from the game Gravity Circuit was composed by one of your favorites and mine, Dominic Ninmark. I have no idea what this game is about, neither do we, but the track is a straight banger, and the least I can do for my favorite pair of podcast hosts. Oh. Thank you both for all the joy and goodwill that you put out into the world. There's a reason y'all were my number one most listened to podcast this year. You make every week just a little better. I love you guys, and I wish you the very best of 2022. Happy holidays to all my fellow patrons as well. And we do appreciate you too as well, Boudreault. It's actually been kind of nice. He started out as he would listen to the show, and every once in a while he would pop up, and then one day he started using social media because if I remember correctly, for a while he wasn't on any of the chat groups. He was just he'd write in sometimes.
Yeah.
And then he started using the chat groups and stuff like that, and now he's a regular social contact. He's just a friend. It's great.
It's just really nice seeing him out there and hearing back from him and commenting. Not just commenting on the shows, but just
in general.
Just in general. So I'm looking at Gravity Circuit. It looks like a really cool platformer, like a retro style platformer with a really. My
vibe was
really
that was a Mega Man-y type game. That was the vibe I got from the track.
Yeah, it looks kind of like that, like a Mega Man X type thing, but almost a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color level of color palette. But oh man,
you're the Game Boy. You're the Game Boy.
This track,
Game Boy or girl.
This track, however, is like, it's super smooth. I'm really, really into it. When I think of Dominic Ninmark, I tend to think of like the really fast, super energetic tracks. But this is like right down there in the middle. Like this track feels more like a Scapegoat to me.
I can see that. Yeah, there's some Scapegoat in there.
Yeah.
Which another game I need to get back to, by the way. I never finished a Scapegoat 2.
Man,
finished the first one.
All these games I've finished that you've never finished. Yet, you bother me about that one.
Because that one's very important.
Very important.
That one is very important.
Well, I want to thank everyone for listening to the show. I want to thank all of our Patreon members for who hopped in the chat room while we were recording tonight. We had some technical difficulties at the end and had to cut it short, but just a little short. So thank you, everyone, for sticking it out with us. And,
just a wee bit short.
Just a wee bit short. But this is something we love doing every month. So Patreon members of all levels, you can just give $1. Just give $1 for a month and have it for a lifetime. you get a card. If we could send a card in the mail that said, member of Rhythm and Pixels.
Rhythm and Pixels family.
Yeah.
Rhythm and Pixels family.
RMP family. I would, but that is just cost prohibitive. So that won't be happening. But yeah, if you want to say,
I don't know. I mean, technically, you could. That could be the sticker.
Oh, that could be. Maybe I'll change up some of the merchandise to maybe be a little bit more specific. But as it is right now, I really like the logo, and the logo looks really good on a sticker. If I do say so myself, that people have been posting on Discord. But yeah, if you want to say hi to us, if you want to send us a letter, send us a little wave, or if you have a track suggestion or a topic suggestion. Or even if you're a remix artist, or if you know of a remix artist, or if you're in a cover band, we want to know all about that. Please send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And for more information about this show, more information about the tracks, a full track listing from this episode and all of our episodes, please go to the website.
rhythmandpixels.com.
And we're out there on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and you can see us on YouTube. youtube.com/rhythmandpixels with an 8-bit and 16-bit classics radio station, which I've had to to turn the chat off of the radio station because the spam bots have taken over.
The machines are winning.
No matter how small your station is, the machine just takes over. It's really frustrating. So don't click that link, but I had to turn the chat off for a while. So please check that out. It's also on twitch.tv/rhythmandpixels. It's the restream of the radio station. And if you want to support the show, you can go to rhythmandpixels.com/merch. We have some cool t-shirts and hoodies that you can check out there. We have like lots of designs. There's like 9 or 10 different designs that you can choose from. You can also support the show by subscribing to it on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. You can rate and review us there or wherever there's a rate and review button. You can also go to Patreon at patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. And as members there, you get access to monthly live streamed episodes, weekly prequel episodes, mostly weekly prequel episodes. And you also get some cool stuff like stickers, there's mugs, there's t-shirts, there's even some benefits that you can get for the radio station and give it your own little shout out on the radio station. And then at the end of every episode, we'd like to thank all of our members at the highest levels. We'd like to thank Frankly Zappa, Kristen, Mike Myers, Ulf Persson, Fashion 8060, who hopped in the chat for a little while, Alex Messenger from AVGM Journey, Andreas Mielberg, Brian Pitt, Cameron Werma, Camille, Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito from the Heroes 3 podcast, Chris Weisner, aka Musashi219, Christopher Senstrom, Davey Cakes, David Taylor, Harold Howard, Justin Schneider from XVGM Radio, Michael Bridgewater from the Forever Sound Version podcast, Michael Jennings, Rage Cage, Reinhard Selkova, Sleepy S'more, Steve Miller, Taco, the Autistic Gamer 89, and Ed Wilson from the VG Embassy.
Embassy.
Thank you all so much for your continued support of our show. It means a lot to us. Money goes to new merchandise. Money goes towards hosting and all the stuff that keeps the show alive. And it's a lot of hours editing and recording. So a lot of editing goes into this show. So thank you very much for supporting us.
See, all the weird words I tend to say. Like all that stuff. He's got to fix that.
And mainly when you make those noises, I have to play with the volume knob, but that's about it. Very, very little actual voice editing. So yeah, thank you all so much for listening to the show. We really appreciate you all stopping by and checking us out in the live stream. And
we genuinely do. And it's honestly just fun conversation. Like, if you want to come into the chat and just be like, so, what's your favorite dinner? And what's your favorite entree? I don't care. It's fun conversation.
Yeah, we love it.
I like it.
Also, check out our Discord. It's on the link is on our website, rhythmandpixels.com. And hop in the Discord and say hello there. There's a link right at the top of the page. You click it, come in, you say hello. Everyone sends you video game music and memes, and we love doing that.
And honestly, I feel like there's like a nice collective in there. It's like people will talk to each other and stuff. So even if we're not there immediately to do something, everyone that's in the chat just likes to communicate with each other too. So it ends up being nice and fun. Nice collective.
But guess what, Pernell? Next week, our next episode will be the first episode of the year 2022, and it'll be the first episode of season 31, World 31.
Oh man, that's synonymous.
Yeah, it's all working
hand in hand like peanut butter and Scrabble. This
might bring along the VGM apocalypse that was foretold by Hammock.
Well, if we're going to go out to some spicy beats, I'm okay with that.
Well, everyone, thank you for listening to the show. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And we'll see you next week.
And remember, you probably heard mentioned earlier in the episode the dialogue of us talking about 2020, 2021, 2022. And yeah, there's this part of me that is really just kind of thinking, Crapulence Part 3 or whatever, because woof, it's been a rough time right now. But, it's okay to acknowledge that level of frustration and things. But even if you feel that, leave a little room for some hope too, because if anything, things could turn around, even if not in the ways you expect them to or would hope for them to. They turn around in ways you don't expect them to, which still counts as a silver lining and overall just nice change and impact. And really, we all could use a little bit of some of that in our lives. A little bit of hope, a little bit of extra encouragement. And honestly, even if you still just don't quite feel like it's going to measure up to what you want it to be, there is something to be said about being that positive influence or light in the lives of the people around you. Because even if the greater society is not meeting up to your expectations, or if the world just feels like it's a little rocky, having close people in your life that just bring a bit of a positive shine to things, sometimes it's all you get, and it might be all you need to keep things moving forward for yourself. So just try. I guess it's just about the gist of it. Just try, because what we got